Yesterday I didn't say anything. The night before, I went out and I watched that movie, The Majestic. Oh my God, that movie is so good. I really got myself into a little good movie kind of pond there for a day. The Majestic. Oh my gosh, such a good movie. And then I went out with my friend and went out to eat. Went into town and stuff. And went this restaurant I really like in town, and but I ended up drinking tons of iced tea. So I'm just sitting there having a good old time, drinking my iced tea, drinking it. And then I came home and I could not sleep at all. Oh my God, it was horrible. I was up, it was like 12 something. I'm walking out here, I'm looking at the thing, I'm like, oh my God. Because it doesn't matter when I go to bed, Stella's still going to get up at the same time. And she did. So yesterday I was just like, fuck everything. I'm just going to just rest all day. I'm not even going to feel like I need to get anything done. I did a ton of stuff, but I didn't put it on myself ahead of time, because when I get up in the morning, I'll set my intention. I'll think about, what I've got to do and what I want to do and how I want to get it done. Sometimes even when I can't figure out, like, how am I going to do that? Like, what do I do? They'll just show me, you can do this, and then you take that and you put this there, and then that will, it's, I think it's fascinating. But, I don't know. There's people that just don't even know that they have any kind of source out there that they have contact with. So, whatever. Another thing that's weird is I noticed is, when you are looking at this thing, you can look yourself straight in the eye, but you're always looking somewhere else. It's weird. It's kind of creepy. I try not to even look over at myself that much. But one thing I was thinking a lot about was, we should all live our lives like Helen Keller and Anne Frank, and I'm sure there's a lot more, but they should be role models because, even when there was, things were just, I don't know how they could get more hopeless than what Anne Frank went through. And, she just didn't let it beat her down. She still lived her life. And even if it was as limited as it could possibly be. And there's just so many people, I think, that just feel like they're stuck. They have no choice. They can't live their life. They can't make different choices. That, it's all this victim mentality. But we've got people out there who are role models, who have had everything going against them, and they still, made the best of what they had. And Helen Keller, even though she had so much stuff going against her, she still wanted to learn. She still wanted to understand things. She still wanted to, like, her light wasn't shut off. Neither was Anne Frank's. And it seems like there's so many people currently who their lights just shut off. There's a lot of people that's dim, but there's a lot of people that just shut it off. Like, everything's hopeless. I'm helpless. I got to wait. If the government will step in and save me, then, everything will be fine. They don't even know who the real enemy is. It's like, you guys, come on. I mean, it's all corporation. I was watching, like I said, after Majestic, I just scored on a couple of more movies. There was one, and it was just a really fun, entertaining movie called The Ghost of New Orleans. It was just really, it was cute, and I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was really good. It was on Prime. And then I watched this other one, and it was called something when the rain comes, or something like that. Oh my gosh. It was really, really good. It showed this guy. I mean, it has this whole involved story and stuff, but it just did so well of showing this representation of how you feel about things. You will manifest it yourself into physical symptoms. And you know, people just don't realize that. Like, they don't get the significance of it, but it is real. And like this guy, he was just, oh my gosh, you know, he had a hard life, but he was just, you know, what I talked about, carrying the burden of the pain of others. You know, like with the little African kids, and his story happened to be about the little African kids, and the drought, and the people dying, and the bureaucracy, and the you know, some of the bullshit stuff that is done. It is done primarily to kill these people off. You know, I mean, don't kid yourself and think that things have to be the way that they are. They don't. And we're going to see the shift. And then, you know, a lot of people will wake up to the truth. But yeah, he just carried this heavy burden of things he saw, but he manifested him into his own self, so that it was like he became a cripple. He had, you know, this serious rare thing that happened. But you know, it's just the same thing as what I'm saying about the cancer and sun. If you believe it's going to give you cancer, it's going to give you cancer. If you believe it, all the things are coming from within your own mind, you know, that is one thing too, is, you know, with some of the people whose attitude towards me is a certain way, and you know, they can think it's all coming from me. You know, they're just reacting to me. They don't see, no, your attitude, everything is coming from within you. It's all from within you. And you decide what you want to see. It's all in you. You know, just like if somebody were to go on here and, you know, start trying to talk shit to me, and you know, tell me how crazy I am, or whatever, the bullshit that people like to try and do. To me, you know, that's how you need to spend your time of your day. You know, I think it's kind of mental. I think it's mental if you don't like somebody to go on and listen to them. I think that's nuts. You know, it's like, God, take some control of your life. But if you want to come on and say negative stuff, I just see you as a very negative person. You know, I see it as you're exposing your true self, and you don't even realize it. But that, you know, if all you can think of is negative stuff to say to people, that's coming from within you. And, you know, people have got to learn to take responsibility for how they see the world, how they interact with the world, how they choose to talk to people. And, you know, that movie, I'm sure I'll think of it, or I know I wrote it down somewhere. Maybe I wrote it on one of these. I've seriously been trying to organize my journals so I can start. It's a lot, though, to try and get it organized of all the stuff, you know, that they've been saying. But, oh, I've got so many of these. I can't remember what it was called. I know it was something about water. Seemed like it was something about rain and the rain coming or something. But I'll try and find it, because if anybody wants to watch it, it was really very moving, and it was good to. I liked the way that they didn't talk about it in the same way I would have, but I liked that all the pain that he was carrying became physical symptoms, just like in the other show that I had talked about, that my daughter had wanted me to watch, and then when I went to visit, I watched it. I can't remember what it was called too. And it had that one actor, and he plays himself and his brother, which, oh my God, he did really, really good, because they were very distinct, different people. I mean, they look so different. Like he just to contort his face all the time, I guess, to act like the one guy. That seems like it would give you a headache. But their mom, who was holding all these secrets and holding all this shame for her whole life, that and then she died of cancer. I'm not saying every single person who dies of cancer is carrying some kind of shame, but there is some kind of emotional connection that your body will have to manifest cancer. And it's not by accident, that it's in, a whole family dies of cancer. I talked about that before. There's some kind of link to how they see themselves and what they see their only outcome to be. They can't imagine it being different. Everyone else died of cancer. I'm going to get cancer too. And then they, of course, get cancer. And they think it's because everyone else got it. No, you just surrendered. You surrendered yourself. You surrendered your consciousness. You said, okay, I'm going to get this. So, bring it on. You can't surrender, especially right now. You can't surrender to anything. You have to claim your sovereignty. You have to claim, your freedom as a natural soul on this earth. And it's absolutely mind-boggling how many people are still just so I know it's beyond brainwashed, because it's so compliant. It's so that you remember the movie where the guy, they took half the people would be guards and half the people would be prisoners? Well, that was a real study that a real professor did. And in the movie, I think there's a couple movies they did about it. But, it showed that the people will, they will take on their idea of this role or whatever. And, but that is basically what is happening right now, is like, these people are just compliant and they are just playing a role. They aren't even questioning anything. It's just, what's expected of them and who's expecting it. Like, stop and question, whose rules are you following? Who designed the rules that we live by? Why would you live by someone else's rules? And they all just do it dutifully, like they will shame you for not doing it. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, you are surrendering to the enemy on such a deep level. I mean, it's our enemy in the physical world, but it's also our enemy in the spiritual world. You know, the whole thing with the government and all the corporations, all of the industrial complex of the entire, not just the nation, the entire world is under that. The cabal, the corporate, it's all, that's what they are. You know, these beings that, you know, created the corporations to control us. Anything that anyone was doing that was well, then they're like, hey, we can do it better. We'll just, you know, knock them out of the game and take over. And it is like we had these giant lobbyists that are just out against us. And it's so far beyond just government. I mean, look right now at the corporations that are speaking out against the people. The people support them, but they don't. The whole thing is it's worked for so long, you know, this shame on you kind of thing. You know, don't get out of line. But now there's just so many of us that are awake that there's, you know, but we still have these other ones that are just playing along in the game. And it is like we're the prisoners and they're the guards, and they want to, you know, shame us into compliant behavior because they're willing to do it. I mean, they're willing to cut off their airway. I swear to God, I think daily about that girl who had the two of them on, young girl, two on, and told me, well, yeah, she's got to wear those because she's so scared of the other thing causing her to stop breathing. You know, she's got to. It's like, well, you're just practicing, you know, you're cutting your airway off. It's like, how long would your car go if the air filter was all clogged up? You know, I don't even know if cars are, but I was thinking about like carburetors and the air filters and stuff. I mean, I can remember you would know because your car would be chugging along. You needed to change your air filter. Now they're all computerized. I don't even know what the fuck's in there. But that's like, you guys, a car needs oxygen. Humans need oxygen. You are a machine. You got to have oxygen. It's so bizarre. I mean, do they think like it's coming in from somewhere else? Do they think like that's not a problem to restrict your breathing apparatus? It's so crazy. And, you know, all the people getting these things, you know, I guess insurance is dropping people because, you know, once you're an experiment, you're not covered. But they're going to drop everybody because, you know, if you don't comply, then they're not going to cover you. But they're all going down. I mean, they're part of the system that's all breaking away. All the corporate bullshit. All of the, you know, the corporations of the world, that's got to be the most incestuous kind of pile of people. They're all married to each other and have each other's kids, and probably all go to the same barbecues and do those key parties or something. They're a bunch of fucking weirdos. They all are just completely out to get us, and they're all just working together to destroy everybody. And there's so many right now. I was just talking to somebody when I went out to dinner, and she was saying that her husband got this too, and broke out in this horrible rash. It went like a mohawk all the way down, and you know, he's sicklier, you know, so many people with their diabetes, their high blood pressure, and he's got all those, you know, and all of this swelled up, got real huge. He's not worried about it at all. I mean, you know, he thinks that regime is, you know, here to save the world because luckily they got rid of T-Dog and, you know, just brought in the frickin' gator bait and foghorn, leghorn, all the fucking bullshit. And so, you know, I mean, he's, I don't know, gonna die for his cause, I guess. But because I had said, well, I heard that the people who were getting the rashes, a lot that was a sign of the blood clots. And, you know, she got all worried. But, you know, I mean, that's a fact. Any of these people who are taking these, I mean, all they had to do was go and look it up. Just fucking look some shit up. Boggles my fucking mind. Honestly. How do you just not look up anything? How can you hear some of this stuff and not even look it up? I am just, oh my God. I don't know. So fucking weird. But, you know, another thing I was thinking a lot about was, you know, the obesity. And, you know, that all, it's so all put together. You know, all the things are part of the same thing, even though they seem like independent structures, like the diet culture and the control of our food and the chemicals and the additives and shit put into our food and the laboratory, what is that word? Manipulation of our food. And so, you know, they've made people fat on purpose. That wasn't by accident. I saw a picture the other day and it was showing the hottest guys in Ethiopia. It was one guy, but it was like, you know, this is the hot guys in Ethiopia, and he was hugely fat. This giant ass stomach that stuck out like 3 people stacked in, you know. And but you think about it, if you are in Ethiopia and, you know, there's no food, hell yeah, the fat guy, he's got fucking food. I'll marry that fat fuck over there. And you know, and you're gonna be set. So it makes sense, right? Because it seems he's got more than enough. He's so fat. That's about gluttony. You got more than enough. You know, more energy than your body requires. It's just gonna hold it out there to show it off. Like, hey, I got more than enough. I'm fucking set, dude. And people don't, you know, put it together. Like what actually obesity shows. Even in times when obesity was attractive, it was after coming out of times where there was no food, there was a lack of resources and people were starving. So yeah, the fat people were like, you know, they were beautiful. The skinny people were the wretched, you know, they were the ones who were starving, trying to make it. Well, now we got a fucking giant ass culture of fat people, right? And then they want to say, oh yeah, you guys, come on, fat's where it's at, be proud. But they're also selling you all of this diet supplements and confusion in your body. I mean, there's so much stuff, so much with the confusion. But they are, you know, selling them all the cures. So let's get you super fat, but we'll cure you. We've got the cures for you, but you got to, you know, put on some pounds so we can help you out. So they have done that. They've created all these fat people who are, you know, one thing is like if you gain a bunch of weight, your heart and your lungs don't grow. You know, they don't grow to compensate for the extra size that you are. You're still trying to make it on little tiny lungs and little tiny heart for this giant body. That's why so many fat people, like their joints, like they can't walk and everything. All of your body is not meant to carry around an extra 100 pounds. It is, you know, it's just not meant to be. It can't handle it. And them to be trying to tell you that it's healthy, it's free, it's, you know, being progressive, you know, be fat, be progressive. When the whole time they know you're killing yourself, but, you know, that's their agenda, to get rid of the weak, the sickly. And it's just so weird how people just so easily buy into these ridiculous concepts. You know, putting a obese person on the cover of, what was it recently? It was either Health magazine or Self magazine, or one of those, you know, that promotes be your best self kind of magazine. And then, you know, obesity's the way to go. Oh my God. I mean, it is like, hey guys, just be fat and lazy. Who gives a fuck? That's the way to go. And people are like, well, hell yeah. Why should I have to work for anything? Fuck it. Can't get ahead in life anyways. Fuck that. If I want something, I'll just go take it. And we've just, you know, we've got this whole culture that has been created. That's not even to say, I'm probably spitting because I don't know what the hell happens to my tongue when I start trying to talk or something. But the whole culture has just become so lazy and compliant and don't give a fuck. I mean, you know, if something is not good for you. So if somebody says, oh yeah, it's good for you, yeah, go ahead. You know, that's great. I mean, even recently I just saw, because, you know, all this stuff about vitamin D, and they've been restricting this information and how important vitamin D like is to this whole flu thing. And then, you know, they want to block the sun. They want to convince you, you know, put lotion on, don't go, keep away from the sun. You know, that's something God made. You know, we watch out. Anything that is natural. That's what, you know. It's like, oh my God, people. So, you know, they want to restrict it and stuff. So I had just saw a thing that was talking about that sugar drinks, which I'm assuming is soda, but there's so many drinks now. I mean, fuck, they've done shit to water, you know, flavored, bubbly, all sort. I don't know. There's so much shit with sugar drinks, and the sugar drinks are depleting your vitamin D. So, and that's just one thing. You know, there's no telling how many things that they have that are depleting what you need to survive, especially during this time, you know, that this, you know, they're trying as hard as they can to get this illness inside of us all. And, you know, a lot of people make it fucking easy for them. But then to just do all of these unhealthy lifestyle things, like, it's getting a little bit nicer here. It's still, you know, it's crazy because it's supposed to be snowing and raining for these yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and maybe one more day. And then next week it's like almost 70, hot sun the whole week. Weather is just nuts. But I have seen more people walking and, you know, a couple of pretty large people, you know, trying to get out there and start walking. And I haven't noticed them before. So, you know, I don't know if they've gained a lot of weight during this lockdown or if they were always struggling and now they're starting to take their health more serious, because that's what it should have happened. People shouldn't have just been like, oh, yes, I can eat all the junk I want, drink all the soda I want, stay away from the sun, hide in my house, play video games, cover this, even when I'm outdoors, and I'll be healthy. And it should have been that they were like, oh man, I got to start, you know, really thinking, how can I be my healthiest? You know, take care of myself, eat healthy, eat. And that's another thing too. And I talk about this a lot too with the push on the veganism, which, you know, I know that's part of the agenda with the fake food. Get as much fake food in us as possible. We don't need nutrition in these people. We just need transhumanism. We just need to get them sick enough, put the fucking chip in them. And, or, you know, shoot it out. However, let's just get those chips in these people. And the, wait a second, let me remember what I was talking about. Shoot. It was something I really wanted to, it'll come to me. Sometimes when I'm trying too hard, then it just goes blank. Go back and talk about what I was talking about, because I'm sure it will come to me. But, you know, it should have created people to get more serious about their own health and their own health issues and stuff. And I'm glad to see some of these people out walking, because you can't be healthy and, you know, carry around all this extra weight, not eat healthy, and all these chemicals and shit that they put in our food. Oh, the diet thing. So with the veganism, you know, it bothers me that we have all of these, you know, spiritual people who are talking and, you know, pushing so hard on this food diet kind of, you know, you have to be a vegan to ascend and stuff like that. Well, I don't agree with that idea. For one thing, I think that ascend, if you want to ascend, you're going to ascend, because you have to be focused on your spiritual growth. So therefore, you will be ascending, you will be leveling up, you will be going up. And it won't have to do with what you're eating. It will have to do with your relationship with self, with what you believe as, you know, the higher power, the higher purpose, the source, the whatever you want to, you know, however you see it. And, you know, the whole thing with the veganism is being it's such an agenda. But the whole thing is, the way you want to eat is the most natural way you can eat. You want to eat God's food. You don't want to eat their food. Their food's manufactured chemical poison. And the closer you can get to eating the more natural foods, you know, that's why, you know, they want to stop us from growing our own food. They want to stop us from hunting our own food and stuff. They don't want us to have actual real nutrition. They don't want us to have mental nutrition, physical nutrition, none of that. But the more that you can get to eating like the more natural foods, you know, try and get away from additives and preservatives, because those are hurting your body. And this whole transformation has to do with our mind, body, soul connection, and our connection to the universe and understanding of energy and stuff like that. And So the more that you can get to eat things that are really healthy for you, and then you'll find too, you eat much less. If you're eating healthy foods that are your body isn't craving to eat all the time. That's one thing, is if you're constantly craving to eat, you know you're not eating anything healthy, because your body is telling you, you know, I need something, give me food. And you know, give it some more junk. You know, it will take that for a few minutes, and then it's going to start being like, oh my God, I'm wilting. Oh, I need food. But a lot of people don't want to listen. They, you know, they just want to head over to Jack in the Box and grab some junk and, you know, quickly get somewhere else. Oh, people are such a fucking hurry all the time. Where the fuck are you going? Seriously. Why are you in such a hurry to get there? Man, nobody's in the moment. Nobody's appreciating the moment. But anyways, that would be the thing I would say about the food. You know, I think that the whole thing about the veganism and stuff, I've said before, I think it has something much deeper to do with your DNA and your body requirements, depending on where you are from and what, you know, your body needs. We don't all need the same things. You know, we have to start seeing each other as individuals, individual needs, individual wants, individual perspectives, individual experiences. And we got to just learn to respect people, even if we don't agree with them. We can just still respect them. But I think that the food thing, you know, is going to be a lot more, it's a personal thing. You just cannot. I'm so surprised by how many people try and say, if you're eating meat, then, you know, you can't ascend, and you're low vibration and stuff like that. You're low vibration if you're, you know, hanging down in low vibration. If you're just like, oh, the world sucks, everything sucks, oh, my life sucks. That's low vibration. If you eat something and, you know, if you go eat something and you think it's really bad for you, you know, that's going to lower how you feel. But if you feel like you are taking good care of yourself, you have gratitude, and, you know, you really enjoy a steak, well, you know, then be grateful that that animal gave its life up for you to enjoy that steak and carry another day for your life, you know. That's the thing. And, you know, another thing I was also thinking about was, you know, I talked about, you know, some people say that this ascension is going to be the splitting of the earth is going to split in two. And, you know, that kind of goes with the tribulation of the people, half the people disappearing and half the people, you know, like in this split reality, those of us who are aware would go to this one world, and the ones who are asleep will go to, you know, the war and continue their I have a lot of people in my family who are still, yeah, so it's always that, I don't know, it gets me emotional when I think about it. But I think that I was thinking it the other day, because I've heard a lot of people talk about too that about our light bodies, and thinking, you know, maybe this this big event that's supposed to happen, it's, you know, this ascension thing, is that there's something about the people who are aware, you know, they're connected to God, and, you know, whatever's going to happen, the world's going to just blow up and start a new one, that we're all going to, since we have awareness, we're all just going to go, hey, let's go to that one together, and our collective consciousness will go over there, and we'll still be our same selves. You know, because there's a lot of people saying, oh yeah, we're going to go into these light bodies. Well, if we're in a light body, that's not in our human body. That's not that is you know, it's basically being it's I don't, it's not even incarnated. I mean, if you still stayed the same, this is kind of shit I think about. That's why people tell me I'm too weird and I think about deep shit and I should not think about such weird shit. But I mean, if I'm not gonna just sit and think about stupid shit. I'd rather think about deep shit. But if the world, like if all of a sudden some big thing happens, and you know, like a volcano, a tsunami, like all this shit is just goes crazy, and you know, I mean, we got, what is the Nibiru or whatever, you know, the planet that's headed for us that they're not talking about, that is going around us. You know, I heard that's actually a ship, and it is going around, and who knows? Well, I mean, there's so much stuff that's not being told to us, but you know, if there is some kind of a thing that is going to be, it would kind of be like you would die essentially, but you would still be alive because you would be in your light body and you would continue as this person. I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense to me. But the two earth things splitting doesn't really either. And I think the ascension has to do with just, you know, going closer to your spiritual side, getting in touch with what you are on the inside, and not so focused on what you are on the outside and what life is like on the outside, but to more focus on what's on the inside. And I don't know, I kind of feel like it's gonna still be this planet. I still feel like that there's the stuff with the tribulation and stuff like that. I feel kind of like it's metaphor or analogy or something. I don't take all that stuff as literal in the Bible as you know, there's so many people talking about so much stuff right now because so many people believe this is the end days, this is the end. And so some of the stuff that they'll say, I'm just like, I think that's a metaphor. I don't think it's literal. But I think that there's going to be, these people are going to wake up. I think that we're going to all head towards this other way of being together on this planet. I think that there is probably some people who will have a harder time to wake up. Like I can picture certain groups of people that will struggle, but I don't think that there's going to be any way around it. I think that it's just what's going to have to happen. I think there's still going to be a lot of people who are going to be dying and killing themselves. There's going to be people, there's going to still be a lot of bad stuff that's about to happen. And that's going to wake up a lot of people. But I don't know. I don't think that we're going to go into these other bodies, or I don't think we're all going to just disappear suddenly, but who knows? I don't think anybody knows any better than anyone else. I mean, anyone who is speaking out is like me. That's just people who are listening to their own guidance. It's called channeling, I guess, when you're listening and you repeat what they say. And, you know, there's a lot of people who have began noticing and tuning in and listening and sharing what they're hearing. But, you know, no matter what, we're all in this together. We're all going to see how it plays out. I hope that more and more people just keep waking up. And it just, you know, it's all about questioning your reality. Question everything. Question everything, and don't believe something just because someone tells you. Go look into it. Right now it's super hard because there's so much censorship and so much repression of information, because we're in an information war, you know. So it's very difficult. But there, at a time like this, when there's so much misinformation, it's just, I don't know, it's not a time to go out and let them be putting stuff in you and be compliant. And no. Once there was people who were letting them stick things up their ass, it was like, oh my God, people, fucking use your fucking head. God damn. Ugh. I literally, she's snoozing. Oh, she could barely walk. She's having such a hard time. It's so shocking to me is how many people that I literally thought were just so smart. I really looked up to them as just being like, wow, they are so smart. Or showing this other side of them. There's a lot of people, I think, that we got confused with intelligence as their ego. It was really just their ego. And, you know, they were able to make it seem that they were super intelligent. But really, isn't intelligence like being more informed, looking into things for yourself, and not just being a sheep or cattle, you know? So, I don't know. When this shit goes down, there's going to be so many people who are going to have to really, they're not going to like what they see. When they look in the mirror, they're not going to like it at all. And they're not going to like that they've been supporting the bad guy when they thought that they were like the righteous who were setting the rules for us all. Really, they're just compliant to the bad guy. There's just so much arrogant ignorance. People's egos are so inflated with thinking they're so superior. Yeah, when they find out, whew, that is going to be a heavy hit. So, anyways, it's just another day. It's like every day now is just waiting for the day, because it's coming. I don't know when, but we know it's coming. It's looming. So, anyways, it's enough of me rattling around today. So, who knows? It's still early. It's not even lunchtime. So, anything could happen today. I could be back on here talking some more. So, if not, have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.